Now we don't want to go that like. So our first topic is gonna be like, I got something to talk about. Matter of fact, let's talk about. Let's talk about communication, cause people don't be communicating right, or people be communicating threats. People be. That's what I'm having a whole segment called People Be, and this is gonna be what people be doing. You know what I mean? So for real, like, cause.
Hit it.
Come on, 1, 2, 3, go!
Welcome to SweetTalk, StreetTalk with Jamar and Rick, the place where we have the uncomfortable conversation.
3, 2, 1.
Hit it.
So what's the uncomfortable conversation of today?
I think we're going to be talking about communication. So it's going to be a podcast talking about talking.
Okay.
You're the one that chose this one, so why did you choose communication?
Because I feel like that's the biggest part of any misunderstanding, or that's the biggest part, because people don't understand each other, comprehend what, or feel what the other person is feeling, or even just looking at it. Like, because if you look at it, you're like, all right, I can understand that, but you know what I mean, I'm not feeling that way. But it's just the whole communication part. So
is it, you think, is that we like don't talk enough, like we don't people just don't communicate enough with other people, or that we don't have the right tools?
I feel like people talk all the time. People talk all the time, but people don't talk about the right things. And in today's society, we don't even like to express how we feel, because we look at it as a weakness.
Yeah, that's true. And then so you don't even want to go to the other person, or because it makes you look like
less than, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, that's sad that being the biggest person is the lowest thing you could do right now. Like, that's sad.
That's true though.
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
it really is. And then I think about like even like, I mean, in a relationship, so I don't want to get too much into like relationships as far as like somebody you dating, but it really is. I mean, it takes a long time before you learn how to communicate. And I think you're almost like talking at the person for a couple of years. Like, it takes a second before you even figure out how that person receives
what you're saying. Exactly. Oh, man. And a lot of relationships don't work because of that, because people don't even want to communicate. People will rather walk away with their pride than to say that they made a mistake, or that they messed up. Or,
my Lord. Yeah. I mean, that's true. Like, your pride is probably the biggest enemy to the success of any, like, friendship, anything. I mean, even at your job, your local group, whatever, I don't care. Pride is the biggest enemy, because you don't want to ask for forgiveness. You don't want to take the L. You don't want to say I was wrong. When, kind of like you said, right now being the bigger person really does mean being the smaller one, the more humble, the more meek. Just let it go. But even when we try to communicate, I feel like, let's just say like on your job, you know, if you have an issue with another person, I think we normally start with how I was wronged, you know, which already starts it. It is already wrong the way we come at a problem. Look, you made me feel like this, and you probably don't have the whole story yet. Most of the time, I find out that I just have not gotten the whole story. And if I had the whole story, I wouldn't have reacted the way I reacted. But it's up to me to just not react to get the whole story.
So yeah, I agree with that. And like, even with communication at your job and stuff like that, I feel like, I mean, in anything, if you feel wrong, you have a right to communicate that too.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not that any party, it's all about communication, having like we say, the uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, because sometimes it ain't but one way we can have it. We just gonna have to have it out. And I've been in those situations where the argument was good, like needed, like even on a professional level or something where I had to have it out with an event. Somebody that owned an event space I was decorating, and we just bop, back and forth until we finally both just said, all right, you right, okay, I got it. It's not always like that, but sometimes, just hashing it out until it's done. And then there's other times when it's like, maybe the communication needs to be, let's just not talk right now. Let's decide we just gonna put this on the shelf for a minute and come back to it later. But you know how we are. We live in block society. I mean, block and swerve. Like,
you be going quick.
Ain't nobody doing all that talking. And people shooting. They ain't even fighting. They pass even fighting now.
But it involves all types of parties. It's relationships. It's work. It's sometimes it's even with your kids. You just can't even talk to your kids. And relations. You know what I mean? Like,
I am figuring out that, especially like with the kids, that the communication technique has to change every freaking year, and it's exhausting because you don't know when like a 9-year-old has started to joke back at you or something, and then all of a sudden you like, trying to think of something. We would get upset almost like saying, you talking back or something. But they almost are just at that age where I'm ready to start bantering with you. And so you got to kind of change, the communication technique, or we just going to be yelling at each other all the time.
And not only that, it's just that with the piggyback on what you're saying with the generations.
Right.
It's just that the lingo changed and just like communication changed. Basically, things that we were saying back in the day, they look at that like that. Oh, that means something different today. And it's just like communication on all levels, old and young. It's just with the times, but that's a barrier right there. That's also in the way.
It's our ages,
right? Yeah. So,
oh my God, I mean, that's a big barrier for communication, because I feel like you get to an age where you are, say, like where I am, 35, and I may work with people on the same, level that are 50, 60, 70. And you still feel like I need to come at this person with some respect, just age-wise. And that's what I mean by like knowing how to communicate with everybody. I got friends that I work with that's around the same age, and I can really like with them, back and forth. But I'm not going to nobody that's almost 70 that same way. It's gonna be like, hey, mama, can I do this with you? It's going to be different, because I know that this person at least expects a level of respect just off age, just because I'm older than you, come in here with some respect. I can joke with somebody differently on my level, or maybe even ask them a different way because they may understand what I'm saying as far as the lingo and stuff. But you do have to look at that. With my students, I have to be very, very careful about how I communicate, because you think that they understand things that they don't understand yet. You just say it out of your mouth, and then sometimes they don't even know what you're talking about. I gotta slow down and be like, you know what? Let me break that down for you guys, because maybe you don't know how to work together yet. Let's talk about it.
It's all about just, as far as with the age groups, it's just like, because when we were younger, our communication, what we thought we was talking about, didn't mean nothing in the world. I mean,
what do you mean? Like what the words you were saying, or
just like how we communicate, like how we growing up, like the way we acted when we were younger.
Like the kids saying bruh to us as teachers now. You mean something like that?
No, I'm just meaning like the way we communicated, we had a different mindset. So our communication.
What was the mindset?
Of being young?
Yeah.
Just like you don't care.
Oh, yeah.
You don't care. Like when you get older, you communicate more and different, because now you understand how much communication means.
Right. Yeah. How important it is.
Yeah. So like.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You ever been a teen in the house and you had an attitude? You walk past, you ain't say nothing to your mama, knowing damn well You know what I mean? Like,
not in my house, because she like to pick up things and throw them.
Yeah, like,
I mean, I had a lot of mouth, and I guess you're right. Like as a teen, I feel like your biggest part of communication is just wanting to be heard.
right.
So like that whole don't talk back thing, it sometimes works against us in education. I think even at home, you know, as
at home
parents,
too, yeah.
it works against you sometimes because all the kid in that moment wants is for you to hear them out. So sometimes it does come off disrespectful. Sometimes it's like, hey, just stop talking. But then I do think there are times that we have to, as adults, realize this might be a different situation where I might need to listen for a second. You still might be in trouble when we get done at the end of this conversation, but at least you will have felt heard.
Right.
You know.
And you have an understanding. Like, it's basically communicate. We communicate to understand.
Yeah.
That's the whole key to it, because if we didn't, we wouldn't know anything about another person if we didn't communicate. But I mean, communication runs so deep in the understanding part is because it makes you feel and resonate with what the person is saying and going through.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, how much do you think we communicate through, like, not through words?
body language play a big part. Like
Yeah.
I said, like, you could just be walking around the house, and it happens a lot in relationships too, where people walk around, like your girl might just come in and say less. You know what I mean? She don't want to talk too much.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? She avoiding eye contact and all that stuff. And you and as a man to react, you might take it the wrong way because there's no communication.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh well, you mad, I'm mad too, and I don't even know what I'm mad at. Like, but now it just creates more confusion.
Yeah.
And that works in family and jobs. Some people quit jobs and leave jobs and get fired from jobs because of the lack of communication. Because if you understand what your boss is saying, and you know, it's some type of, and some employees don't even feel heard sometimes, like you were saying, like, so like that's where the communication cuts off at. But
Yeah. I mean, I like the part of like the body language, and because that really is a big part of how we like communicate just out in the world. Like
Right.
how you can show somebody that you don't want to talk.
Mhm.
You know, you can show somebody, not saying that you mean to, but your body language can give off, I ain't really trying to hear all that today.
yeah,
Or it can be the opposite, that I'm friendly and, you know, I want to joke around with you, or I am open to the conversation. And I think we have to really be like cognizant of that kind of stuff.
yeah,
I know for me that it has been said that I look mean, you know, and sometimes just sitting there thinking about stuff, running through lists or something like that, I probably do.
right,
And so I'll try to think like, you know, smile,
right.
look friendly, and then you can also, I really feel like you can communicate with people in your acts as well.
Yes, yeah.
You know,
The things you do.
the things you do.
Right.
I think that speaks way louder than what you say.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's like just a cup of coffee that didn't change my whole life that day. You know, it could be a kind act.
Right.
Maybe you gave something, wrote a note. I mean, that stuff really could just turn somebody's like, morning into a good morning.
Right.
A simple thing, a donut,
Mm-hmm.
a text message,
Right.
just thinking about you, you know, hope
Yeah.
you're doing good. Or
Somebody at the gas station, like, just paying for your gas. Or
Yeah.
something like just like that. Like, something simple.
Well, thank you all for joining us.
Yeah, welcome to SweetTalk, StreetTalk.
Welcome.
Welcome.
It's time to
All
go.
right. Thank you.
y'all.
Thank y'all for tuning in to SweetTalk, StreetTalk. This is Rick and Jamar, and we had fun. We talked about some real stuff, and you know, we come here to heal, chill, and
I think you messed that all up.
kill.
I think it is laugh,
Yeah, laugh, chill, and heal.
I can
Yeah.
understand you. Oh my God. So yeah. But anyway, communicate. Just talk.
Just talk about it. That's
Life
it.
is way too freaking short.
Yes, it is.
And what's our motto? You only
You only
get
get
one life.
one, so make it count.
You better freaking make it count.
Let's go.
Get me off of here.